Hello, America. This is an even-numbered year, and so it is the season of elections. Every candidate and every party is seeking to make its case to you, the voter. So you're going to hear an awful lot of things from an awful lot of people, and as voters, you're going to have to decide whom you trust and whom will receive your vote. That's a democracy. That's the democracy part of our republic. One man, one vote. And even when elections are hard fought, we should be proud that they're always peaceful. I mean, it's something to be proud of. Most countries don't do that. We've done it for over 200 years. However, if you're anything like me, you're seeing a disturbing trend in our politics. I'm seeing the politics of what I call 50 plus 1. Politicians aren't trying to make the best case to the broadest number of people anymore. They're only looking for about 50% of the vote, plus 1, a bare majority, enough to win. And then that's it. And that's how they rule. They don't care all the way through their term, that 50% plus 1. And so they pursue a campaign strategy of building a house divided against itself. It will not stand. We're seeing it in the claims that there's a war against women. We're seeing it in race-based identity politics. We're seeing it in attacks on the successful and the prosperous, the rich. We're seeing it in the casual attacks on minority faiths and minority viewpoints. It's always us against them, a war that has to be fought, a group that has to be joined, a group that has to be destroyed. I kind of understand that in an election year, but our politicians have got to unite after they win. Candidates say these things hoping that their side will be motivated enough to get 50 plus 1. And maybe it's the right strategy for a short-term victory as a politician, but it is bad for America, and it will leave us with only half a house. I'm not naive. I know elections are never going to be polite. I love these people who are like, hey, we got to be polite. No, yeah. They never have been. American politics can be nasty and personal, and if you're a politician and you think you can't handle that, you shouldn't run. But let's keep things in perspective. The debates between Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, unforgettable. Jefferson called Adams a hermaphrodite who didn't have the gentleness of a woman nor the firmness of a man. Adams responded that if the country would elect Jefferson, they were electing a man who was nothing more than a half-breed whose mother was an Indian squaw who raised him on hoe cakes. Adams said, if Jefferson were elected, your women would be raped and your children would be writhing on pikes in the streets. It's not the worst election we've ever had. But it is important to point out that when a politician says, vote me and I'll crush the supporters of the other guy, well, that's not an attack on a candidate or party. It's an attack on Americans. And it's bad for America when a candidate for office says, vote for me so the rich won't get richer. That's bad. You're attacking Americans. It's bad for America when someone says, vote for me, or else the entire country is going to look like San Francisco. That's not only bad because it's untrue, it's bad because it attacks Americans for who they are, and that's what must stop. Turning Americans against each other, as if to support one candidate is the best way to tear down a fellow citizen. That's not how America works. At least that's not how it works when we are at our best. We are not a zero-sum country. They're balkanizing us. They're dividing us. It's bad. A house divided against itself cannot stand. In America, we don't have a limit to our wealth and our potential prosperity. We don't have a ceiling on justice. We don't have a set amount of civil rights or privileges. We are not trying to build half a house. We're not trying to limit what Americans can achieve. And so we don't have to believe, as the politicians want us to believe, that what one of us gets, the rest of us won't have. It's not true. Our system works best when all Americans believe that their destiny is tied up in the future of the country, all of us, and that you chart your own course. That's when we're best. You can do it, and not at the expense of, women over men, not at the expense of African Americans over Latinos, not the well-to-do at the expense of the struggling. America, that's not the way it works, or at least it won't work this way for very long. Come November, we are going to have votes, and we will have winning candidates. But wouldn't it be nice if come November, after the confetti and the balloons are all swept away, we would still have a United States of America? We should know that our elected leaders will represent the entire country. After the election, you come back and you work with all Americans. We should work to build that house that does not press down or stand with his foot on another man's neck just to be able to stand on his own. We're better than that. Thank you for watching, and may God keep the Republic.